Hello children, good morning and welcome back to your chemistry class. In the last class we have discussed about the chemistry of acid. Today our main focus will be on chemistry of bases. Dear children, try to recall what you have learnt in class 7 about bases. In class 7 we have learned that bases are the chemical substances have bitter taste, soapy touch and that turn red litmus to blue. Here we will try to explain the chemical definition of bases. Just I am writing few example of bases and try to observe. Suppose I am writing here sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, aluminum hydroxide. Try to observe the three bases that I have written over there. Something is common in their formula. You can see that OH, here is also OH, here is also OH. What is OH? OH is hydroxide ion. So bases when come in contact with water, immediately they furnish OH minus ion, that is hydroxide ion. So bases are the chemical substance that furnish hydroxide ion in their aqueous solution. So here you can see that when sodium hydroxide come in contact with your aqueous solution, form Na plus OH minus ion. This is also, it will form K plus OH minus ion. So you can see that if the bases come in contact with water aqueous solution, furnish hydroxide ion. Now one more thing about the base, we have to know that bases are the oxide of metal or hydroxide of metal. And when this oxide of metal or hydroxide of metal, when react with an acid, there will be formation of salt and water. So some equation I am writing to make you clear about the bases. Try to understand. See, sodium oxide, that is metallic oxide, when react with what acid, there will be formation of salt plus water. One more example is magnesium oxide, that is also a metallic oxide. When react with hydrochloric acid, there will be formation of magnesium chloride plus water. You take magnesium hydroxide, that is metallic hydroxide. Sulfuric acid, there will be formation of magnesium sulfate, that is a salt and water. Clear? So here one more example, if you want to take sodium hydroxide, it comes in the contact with hydrochloric acid, there will be formation of NaCl, that is salt and water. Dear children, you can see that this is your salt plus water, here also salt, water, here is salt and water. So bases are the chemical substance which are oxide of metal or hydroxide of metal, when react with acid form salt and water only. Clear? So one more example I am giving you to make it clear. Suppose I am taking one more example of metallic oxide, like lead dioxide, when react with hydrochloric acid, it will form lead chloride and water. Clear? But one more, there will be formation of chlorine gas. You take manganese dioxide, when react with hydrochloric acid, there will be formation of manganese chloride, water and chlorine gas will release out. You just see that here the chlorine gas is releasing out, here the chlorine gas is releasing out. What I have explained to you, bases are the oxide of metal or hydroxide of metal. When react with an acid, there will be formation of only salt and water. Here you can see that salt formation is there, water formation is there, but one more thing is also releasing out, that is chlorine. So as per the definition of bases, only salt and water should release. If chlorine gas is releasing out, then we can say that this oxide of metal is not a base. They are not bases. Clear? So if we combine all the definition of bases, we can explain that bases are the chemical substances which have bitter taste, soapy touch, turn red litmus to blue, furnishes hydroxide ion in their aqueous solution, and they are generally the oxide of metal or hydroxide of metal. When they react with acid, there will be formation of only salt and water. This is the complete definition of bases. Clear, children? Now, bases are of so many types. We will try to see that what are the different type of bases. So, try to understand. We will see the classification of the bases. So, bases can be classification. Bases can be classified into two important forms. One is water soluble bases. The another one, that is water insoluble bases. Water insoluble. It is clear to all of you that water soluble means when you dissolve, when you put this base in water, easily dissolve in water, and some bases are there which are not soluble in water. So you have to know that which bases are dissolving in water. So many examples are there. You can take sodium oxide is a water soluble base. Sodium hydroxide is a water soluble base. You can take potassium oxide, water soluble base. Potassium hydroxide is a water soluble base. You can take ammonium hydroxide is a water soluble base. You can take calcium hydroxide, that is a water soluble base. But it is not 100%, this calcium hydroxide not 100% soluble, but it is to some extent is soluble. So these bases are water soluble base. And dear children, you have to know that so the bases which dissolve in water, they are called with a special name that is alkalis. They are also called alkalis. So water soluble base, you can write that water soluble bases called alkalis. Clear? There are certain water insoluble bases are also there. So you can write so many examples are there. Suppose we are writing FeOH whole 3. Clear? You can write ZnOH whole 2. So many examples are there. So they are the example that I have written there, they are only bases. They are not alkali. What is the condition for alkali? If the bases dissolve in water, then we can say the bases are alkalis. So in class 7 also you have learned that all alkalis are bases. Clear, no? All alkalis are bases, because if bases are there and if they are dissolving themselves in the water, then definitely they are alkalis. So all alkalis are bases, but all bases, suppose this is your base, FeOH whole 3 is a base, your ZnOH 2 is a base, but this FeOH whole 3 and ZnOH whole 2, such type of bases are not dissolving themselves in water, so they are only bases, they are not alkalis. So all alkalis are bases, but all bases are not alkalis. Clear? Again I am trying to explain you the very important thing, that you can see that, dear children, this is oxide of metal, oxide of metal, this is hydroxide of metal, hydroxide of your metal. So what I have explained you right now, that if hydroxide or oxide of metal will be there, then such type of chemical substances are base, and they are also dissolving in, or they are water soluble, that's why they are alkali. So they are base, this example, plus alkali, they are both. Clear? But in this case, their OH is there as per definition, the metallic hydroxide or metallic oxide. So they are metallic hydroxide, so they are base, but they are not water soluble, so they are only base, they are not alkalis. Clear? Now based on that, this is the classification of bases based on solubility of such bases in water or not. One more way, that is based on the ionization of the bases in water. So we can classify the bases as weak base based on their ionization, weak base and strong base. So the second type of classification you can write strong base, and the second one that is weak base. Clear? So strong base, so many examples are there. You can sodium that actually let me explain you. A strong base means what? The bases that fully dissociate, or you can say fully furnishes their OH minus ion in their aqueous solution. For example, sodium hydroxide is a strong base. Potassium hydroxide is a strong base. So when it comes in contact with water, immediately it will form Na plus, complete dissociation will be there. This one like this also, K plus OH minus. Clear? But weak bases are those bases that releases OH minus ion, but the extent of releasing is very less. Clear? So many examples are there. If you want, you can take magnesium hydroxide as a weak base. Clear? So many examples are there. So try to this is the basic classification based on their releasing of or furnishing of OH minus as a strong base and weak base. And the previous we have seen right now that based on their solubility, water soluble and insoluble. Now the next thing that we have to study about the bases, that is acidity of the bases. Acidity of bases. First of all, let me clear you what I have explained you right now, that bases are those chemical substances that releases OH minus ion in their aqueous solution. So depending upon how many OH minus ion is releasing in the aqueous solution, we can determine its acidity. So first of all, let me write the definition of this. This is the number of replaceable OH minus ion in its aqueous solution. So when any base come in contact with the aqueous solution, OH minus will release, and if OH minus is released, how many OH minus is released, that determines its acidity. Try to understand. Suppose I am taking NaOH. When NaOH come in contact with water, it will release Na plus and 1 OH minus. So if 1 OH minus, it means that acidity will be 1 and it will be monoacidic base. Clear? Suppose I am taking another example. Suppose CaOH, calcium hydroxide I am taking. If it come in the contact, it will release, but it will form Ca2 plus 2OH minus. Clear? So it acidity will be 2 and it will be diacidic base. Suppose you take another example, AlOH whole 3 aluminum hydroxide, it will form Al3 plus and release of 3 OH minus. So its acidity will be 3 and it is triacidic base. So dear children, acidity we can find out only depending upon how many OH minus releasing when the bases comes in the contact with aqueous solution. Clear? Now the next thing we have to study that how we can prepare bases. Clear? See, so many ways are there. Very simple method that we will try to discuss. Preparation of bases. Clear? First of all, you have to know that bases there are two type of bases. Already I have explained to you water soluble bases, and that is also called alkalis, and second one, that is water insoluble bases. So we will try to understand that how can we make water soluble bases. First of all, water, we are going to prepare making water soluble bases. Water soluble bases, a very simple thing. Suppose you dissolve, or you can put sodium in water, potassium in water, calcium in water. You can see that when sodium come in contact with water, there will be formation of sodium hydroxide and release of hydrogen takes place. When potassium comes in contact with water, potassium hydroxide, water. When it is come in contact with water, calcium, it will form calcium hydroxide, release of hydrogen. So you can see, dear children, that water soluble bases easily can be formed by putting this metal directly into water, cold water. Try to keep in your mind cold water, then we can form water soluble bases. But how can you make the water insoluble bases? So many water insoluble bases are there, and that the second process of making this one water insoluble. The second process, water insoluble. How can you make? So if you have to make water insoluble bases, few things you keep in your mind. That suppose you write one example. Suppose I am writing zinc hydroxide is a water insoluble base. To make water insoluble base, what are the requirement, raw material we need? Dear children, to make water insoluble bases, one thing you keep in your mind, that we need one alkali, that is sodium hydroxide, and one more thing, that is salt, water soluble salt. Clear? So to make water insoluble base like zinc hydroxide, we need two important things. One is alkali, and the second one is water soluble salt. So what is water soluble salt? Actually, salt that dissolve in water, that soluble in water. Generally, the nitrate salt are water soluble salt. So here we have to make zinc hydroxide. So we can take zinc nitrate. When it comes in the contact of sodium hydroxide, there will be formation of zinc from here, hydroxide from here. So it will form zinc hydroxide, that is water insoluble base, plus sodium nitrate. Clear? So this way, this thing keep in your mind, that what alkali will take, water soluble salt will take, and after the reaction between this, we'll get water insoluble bases. Clear? So now the next thing that we have to study, that is properties of bases. So you have to understand properties of bases. I'm trying to connect yourself with what we have learned in class 7. So few properties I will take from there also. First is, you can write have beta test, soapy when we touch base, soapy feeling will be there. Very corrosive. Already I have explained to you, bases just like acid, bases are very corrosive, very dangerous. So corrosive in nature. The first and most important, that bases conduct electricity. Already I have explained to you, and you all are aware that when any chemical, if furnishes ions, then definitely it will conduct electricity. Right now I have explained you, bases furnishes OH minus ion. So definitely if the ions formation will be there, it will conduct. So conduct electricity. Clear? Now the most important that we'll discuss, reaction. Very chemical reaction of that bases, reaction with fifth one, no? Reaction with acid. Already you all are aware that bases when comes in contact with acid, there will be formation of salt and water. So you can take, suppose I am taking here oxide of metal with acid, formation will be NaCl, salt plus water. If you want, you can take magnesium hydroxide with sulfuric acid, there will be formation of magnesium sulfate plus water, like this. So many examples are there. Next reaction that we have to study, reaction with metal, reaction with non-metallic oxide. Non-metallic oxide, you all are knowing that non-metallic oxide is always acidic. So you see that if I am taking non-metallic oxide, carbon dioxide is a non-metallic oxide. When you allow this non-metallic oxide to react with one base, that is calcium hydroxide, there will be formation of calcium carbonate plus water will be there. So this reaction is very important. These two reactions also try to learn. The next is reaction with metal. Reaction with metal. When bases react with water, they will form a respective salt. You can see, suppose with very important reaction I'm writing, try to know big zinc metal. With when, suppose I am writing zinc plus sodium hydroxide. So when this zinc react with sodium hydroxide will form Na2ZnO2 plus release of hydrogen gas. This is what? Sodium zincate. A very important reaction. Also you can take aluminum when react with sodium hydroxide plus water, aqueous solution, you all are aware, form NaAlO2 plus H2. So you can balance it if you want. This is what? This is your sodium aluminate. Sodium aluminate. Clear? And so these are the basic chemical reaction of the bases that we have to study. The next topic, that is uses of bases. You all are knowing that bases are very important, just like acid. Bases are very important in our everyday life. So one by one we'll try to understand about the important uses of bases. Here children, uses. Now let me explain to you the basic uses. Dear children, if we have to, especially in some festival, if we have to whitewash our wall, we need some base. What is the name of that base? This is our calcium hydroxide. This base we are using to whitewash our wall. So it is one of the applications. This base is also used to make bleaching powder. You know, with chemical reaction, when you allow this chlorine gas to pass to this slag lime or calcium hydroxide, there will be formation of bleaching powder. So calcium hydroxide is very important base. Not only that, sodium hydroxide is very important base, which is used to make soap, to synthetic fiber and plastic. So it is very important. Sodium hydroxide is very, not only that, you can see that sodium carbonate is used as an important base, and that is used as a washing soda. Clear? One more base that is very applicable and generally used in medicine, that is magnesium hydroxide. This is what? This is also called milk of magnesia. It is called milk of magnesia. Actually it is basic nature, and this is very important, act as an antacid. When we have acidity, we can take this base and it's very applicable to neutralize, because already I have explained to you, when acid and bases comes in contact with each other, neutralization reaction will take place and salt and water formation will be there. So in this way, the bases are very important in our day-to-day life and very important to understand this all basic concept. If you have any doubt, dear children, you can try to revise the things. Clear? So in this topic we have discussed about the chemistry of bases, the uses of bases, the chemical definition of bases, acidity of the bases, chemical properties of the bases. So you just try to note down all these things, try to revise the basic concept of the bases. Okay? Now the next topic that we have to study, that is indicator. Dear children, indicator is the chemical substance that indicates that whether the given liquid is acid, base or something else. So there are two types of indicator. One is color indicator and the second one is olfactory indicator. Actually, in color indicator we can easily understand that whether the given liquid is acidic or basic as per the color response. So color indicator are further classified as natural indicator and synthetic indicator. Naturally we have litmus and turmeric, red cabbage, different natural indicator that extracted from the natural sources. As you all are aware that litmus indicator, two types are there. The red litmus is there, blue litmus is there. Blue litmus is what? That turns, when it turns in a liquid, when blue litmus turn into red, it means that the nature of that liquid will be acidic. Like this, when you put a red litmus in a base, when red litmus turns into blue, then the nature will be basic. Like this, turmeric also, the color responses will be there with acid and base. So this indicator, when we use, easily we can find the given liquid, given chemical substance is acidic or basic. It is depending upon their color response. Same way, there are certain synthetic indicators. Chemically we are making the synthetic indicator. The first one, that is phenolphthalein, and the second one, that is methyl orange. As per our syllabus, to these two synthetic indicator, color indicator, we have to study. Phenolphthalein, most important synthetic indicator, generally it is colorless. So colorless, when the phenolphthalein comes in contact with acid, it remains colorless, means there is no change with acidic solution. But this phenolphthalein, when comes in contact with base, it will turn into pink color. So by color response we can understand the acidic or basic nature of the given unknown liquid, or you can say the chemical substance. Same way, the second synthetic indicator, that is methyl orange. This methyl orange is orange color. Its color is orange, just like orange color, and when it comes in contact with base, there will be yellow color formation will be there, and when it comes in contact with acid, there will be formation of red color. So this methyl orange, that is a synthetic indicator, also gives a color code, color indication about the nature of acid or basic nature of that liquid, unknown liquid. Here children, another category of the indicator, that is olfactory indicator. Let me explain you what is the meaning of olfactory indicator. Olfactory means what? With smell we can understand the given thing, given liquid is acidic or basic. There are three generally olfactory indicators we are using. The first is clove oil, the second is vanilla essence, and the third and the most important is onion. So these three retain, when you use these three or any one, either any one of the indicator given with acidic solution, it will retain its smell. But I mean to say that when these things, when come in contact with acid, the smell of this thing remain as it is. The smell will not going to destroy. So if the smell is not going to destroy, we can easily understand that given liquid is your acidic. But when this olfactory indicator comes in contact with another liquid, and if their characteristic smell destroyed, then this confirms the basic nature of the liquid. Clear? So we'll this indicator we can use to find out, to know the nature of that given liquid. Clear? So let me explain one more by taking some example. Suppose I have magnesium hydroxide. Suppose I have hydrochloric acid. Suppose I have calcium hydroxide. Suppose I have sulfuric acid. Clear? If I am using here red litmus, so it is base, so red litmus turns into blue. Here also, in this case, red litmus turns into blue. Clear? But red litmus remain as red in hydrochloric acid and sulfuric acid. It means that no change. No change. Clear? Like this, if I am taking here blue litmus, then in blue litmus also, blue litmus only if acidic nature of given liquid is there, then blue will change into red. So in HCl it will change into red, in sulfuric acid it will change into red. But in magnesium hydroxide and calcium hydroxide, no change. No change. Clear? Suppose if I am taking turmeric solution. Actually, turmeric is a natural indicator, and when this turmeric comes in contact with base, there will be brick red color will be there. Turmeric when come in contact with base, suppose calcium hydroxide is base, so it will be brick red color. Here also brick red, but in with this your HCl and sulfuric acid, no change. No change. Clear? This is all about your natural indicator. Again, we are going to discuss about some synthetic indicator. So synthetic indicator you can take. In synthetic indicator we have phenolphthalein, and the second one, that is methyl orange. So phenolphthalein when comes in the contact with acid, colorless, it remain colorless. When comes the contact of base, it will turn into pink color. Like this, when methyl orange come in contact with acid, it will turn into red color, and when come in the contact with base, it will form yellow color. So color thing, you have to keep color concept, you have to keep in your mind. Now come to your olfactory indicator. In olfactory indicator we have three, already I have explained you: clove oil, vanilla essence or extract you can see, and the most important, onion extract, onion juice. So when this will come in contact with acid, all three you can see in this way. When they will come in contact with acid, the characteristic odor, or you can see the smell, remains, will not destroy. Smell remains as it is. Means no, smell will not destroy with acid, but when they will come in contact with base, their smell will destroy. A smell of these all the indicator, smell will destroy. Clear? So in this way, by using these indicator, easily we can understand that given liquid is acidic or basic in nature. Okay, dear children. So today we have seen the chemistry of bases and chemistry of indicators. So try to learn, try to revise, and if you have any doubt, you can free to ask me, free to message, and try to revise. Thank you to all of you. Have a nice day to all of you.